There is a degree of frustration. I'll put that. He's a frustratedness. Pessimist, I'm making up a word here. But he is frustrated by the failure of everybody else to understand that doing things right is the right way to do things.
Hello amigos, bienvenidos a un nuevo especial de película. Yo soy Riva y hoy me da mucho gusto contarles más sobre Un vecino gruñón, la nueva cinta de Tom Hanks, también protagonizada por Mariana Treviño. Cuenta la historia de Otto, un viudo bastante amargado que es muy rígido con sus costumbres y que tendrá que cambiar un poco cuando conoce a Marisol, quien es la madre de una familia de ascendencia mexicana que llega para revolverle la vida y el corazón. Mucho tendrán que aprender el uno del otro y mucho nos contaron sus protagonistas. Tuve la oportunidad de sentarme a conversar con Tom Hanks, Mariana Treviño y su director Mark Forster. Así que, con toda la emoción del caso, te doy la bienvenida a este especial de película. You know, one of the biggest lessons in the movie is to understand how important it is to let go and not trying to force your past to define your present and maybe become your future. I wanted to ask you also about the challenge of learning to let go and the challenge of accepting new things, different things in order to grow.
If you start off this film and you're going to ask Otto, hey, would you like to have a family of loud Mexicans move in across the street? He would say, absolutely not. That's the last thing I want, and that's the last thing this neighborhood needs. At the end of the film, you would have to say, hey, what's the best thing that happened in your life recently, Otto? He would say, well, it's when these Mexicans moved in across the street. That's actually a beautiful sentiment. And we know that he's right at the end of this film. We know that because he's had these very caring people, Marisol and Tommy and their kids, have knocked on their door saying, we need your help. They've knocked on their door and said, are you okay? And that gives him the freedom now to do the same for them. You need any help? Are you okay? That ends up just being, sort of like the promise of living in the perfect neighborhood and being a good neighbor to other people who are good neighbors as well.
Algo que también hay en la película es un sentido de propósito muy lindo que se crea naturalmente en la relación entre Marisol y Otto, como que son el propósito el uno del otro. ¿Cómo fue el proceso de trabajar en esto teniendo en cuenta, bueno, lo que se encontraba en el libro, tal vez si viste la película anterior, y bueno, hacerlo auténtico de la mano de Tom y también de Mark como director?
Exacto, pues me encanta porque así funciona la vida. A veces no te das cuenta y alguien aparece en tu camino y sin tenerlo muy presente desde la mente, te ayudan a acomodar algo y es algo que necesitabas. Te dan una dosis de amor que no sabías ni siquiera que necesitabas y así pues nos vamos sanando mutuamente. Es importante.
You know, Mark, you are known for your facility to create an ideal cinematic atmosphere. How challenging was it for you to take Tom Hanks and turn him into this grumpy old man that hates everything in order to develop this beautiful story?
You know, it's like Tom is he's known as the nicest man in Hollywood, and it's true. So, but at the same time, to have him, he did a lot of physical comedies in the 80s, Splash and Big. So to go back to his comedic roots and then all this the dramatic work he has done and combine them, also the physical comedy, makes it so wonderful and lovely to watch because you see him grumpy, but he's still charming. And it's something that I really enjoyed working with him together, and our sensitivities really were very overlapping. So it was just a lovely experience.
I wanted to ask you how interesting and maybe inspiring was it for you to connect to the dark, pessimist side of life to portray Otto's character?
You know, it's funny you should use the word pessimist. I think that Otto, all right, I think he might lean towards a degree of pessimism because he just assumes nobody cares, you know? Nobody cares about parking the way they're supposed to park. Nobody cares about putting the right garbage in the right thing. Nobody cares. He's the only one who cares. Why is he the only one who cares? Why can't anybody else cares? There is a degree of frustration. I'll put that. He's a frustratedness. Pessimist, I'm making up a word here. But he is frustrated by the failure of everybody else to understand that doing things right is the right way to do things. Now, he comes off, of course, as angry and cranky and grumpy, but all he really wants is everybody to do things right. And he doesn't want to have to be the enforcer. He doesn't want to have to clean up off anybody's mess. But if he has to be the guy that points out that you're not supposed to park there, he'll be the guy that will point out. He doesn't want to do the job, but he's you know, so that he's forced to do it. And that kind of guy, he's fun to play because I'll tell you why. Because he's always right.
Esta cinta nos muestra cómo somos mejores y más fuertes cuando estamos unidos. Hablemos de cómo
Exacto.
Marisol representa ese poder que tiene la diversidad tanto en la cultura americana como en el mundo, el aceptar y abrazar las diferencias y cómo esto logra hacernos mejores como individuos y en comunidad.
Absolutamente. Cuando estamos juntos nos hacemos más fuerte y eso se ve en la película, justamente ese tránsito de decir, ¿por qué vivir tan fragmentados todo el tiempo? Si en realidad estamos hechos de lo mismo, tenemos la misma alma, tenemos la misma esencia que nos mantiene vivos, que es el amor y que bueno, hemos aprendido en estas sociedades vertiginosas y en estos ritmos también donde nos han llevado y orillado y nos hemos puesto ahí también en estas situaciones como aisladas, individualistas y que de pronto dices, no, juntos somos más fuertes porque estamos unidos y no nos damos cuenta y no nos acordamos. Entonces, está padre ese mensaje de la película. Yo creo que es muy importante. Y ahorita que nos pasó lo de la pandemia y que venimos tan como adoloridos de eso, ¿verdad?
Yes, I mean they all have effect on each other. It's action, reaction, and I think bringing the diversity together to come together and all these different people from different walks of life and different opinion. That's what we're facing today because we're also diverse, we're also different, and we all have to come together and sort of find a path that we connect as human beings.
I mean, when you walk into an ice cream store, honestly, do you only really want vanilla? Do you only really want, you want to have 19 flavors or 32 flavors that are best in it because that diversity is not, okay, you can argue or not whether it makes us stronger. I think it does, but it also just makes us more interesting. It just brings in more options for us. And isn't that what everybody wants from life? The opportunity to choose what is interesting.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Tom, for your time and for your answers. Congrats on the movie. It's beautiful.
Thank you very much. Nice talking to you.
Fue maravilloso conversar con los protagonistas de Un vecino gruñón, así que anímate tú ahora a ir a tu sala de cine favorito para conocer mucho más de esta historia que te dejará llenito el corazón. Yo soy Riva, te mando besos y abrazos y nos encontramos en un próximo especial de película. Bye bye.